Yo dude, Elbaf is hitting us like a freaking lightning hammer to the face, and I don't even know where to start. We've been waiting for this arc to explode, and after the latest chapters it's clear this place is a whole other level of wild. I mean, we've got giants, nightmares crawling out of the shadows, and powers so broken they make you wonder how Luffy's even gonna survive this one. I'm covering the complete Elbaf so far, let's get into it. Straw Hats are partying hard on their way to Elbaf, and Oimo and Kashii drop a little bombshell. Turns out not long after the crew left Water 7, these two giants swung by Little Garden to grab their captains Dory and Brogy. And get this, when they got there they found those two brawling with nothing but their fists. Yeah, their weapons got trashed, so they were just slugging it out old school style. Oimo and Kashii basically said, alright, enough of this, let's get you back to Elbaf for some new gear. But here's the kicker, Dory and Brogy, they're still planning to keep fighting each other. Nami, over there like, are you guys for real? But everyone else is just vibing, sailing along, having a blast. It's such a classic Straw Hat moment, chaos and fun all rolled into one. Now let's jump back a month to Gartle Island. Things get spicy here. The red hair pirates, yep, Shanks and his crew have the Bardo Club locked down tight. Why? Because Bartolomeo and his gang had the guts to sneak into Shanks' territory and torch his flag. Big mistake. Shanks sits Bartolomeo down chained up, by the way, and lays it out. Look, tons of islands count on my flag for protection. If I let this slide, people lose trust and my allies are toast. Bartolomeo's all apologies, feeling the weight of his mess up. Then Hongo steps in with this nasty-looking vial of poison, supposedly makes your blood erupt and hurts like crazy, and tells him, give this to Luffy in a month. Fair trade, right? Whoa, hold up. Did you see that coming? Shanks playing hardball like that. But Bartolomeo, he's ride or die for Luffy. Instead of passing it off, he chugs the poison himself right then and there. His crew's freaking out and he's sobbing, Luffy didn't ask for my loyalty, so I'm not dragging him into this. He's ready to go out, begging his crew to carry on his dream of seeing Luffy as Pirate King, when suddenly burp. Wait, what? Yep, turns out the poison's fake. Shanks was bluffing the whole time. The Bardo Club bolts with Bartolomeo yelling back, you're softer than I thought, Shanks. Meanwhile, Shanks is just grinning. Beckman's like, why you smiling, boss? And Shanks goes, that kid's devotion to Luffy's unreal. Awa kinda sweet, right? But then Yasopp's like, nah, they still need a lesson, and snipes their ship, the going Luffy senpai. Boom, it explodes and sinks. Did the Bardo Club make it? No clue yet. Talk about a roller coaster. Okay, let's shift gears to Hachinasu. Blackbeard's back and he's pissed. Pizarro let Kobe and Moria slip away, and with the world on the edge of total war, that's a huge fumble. Blackbeard's yelling, but his crew, they're hyped, ready to snag the One Piece and take over. He's got big plans, and here, where it gets juicy, Kyuzen nabbed Garp. Yeah, he meant to kill him, but Garp's still kicking for now. Plus, Blackbeard's got Pudding locked up, eyeing her weird powers for who knows what. Then he checks in with Laffit, who's chilling at Umit Shipping's HQ. Laffit's got the scoop. The Revolutionary Army's supply game is crumbling, Bandolas keep breaking, food not moving, and the world nobles might actually be in trouble. Blackbeard's laughing his head off, loving the chaos, and tells Laffit to gear up as Devon and Augur roll in with Caribou. Something big's brewing here, did you feel that chill? Now fast forward 2 days after the giants left Egghead. The Straw Hats should have hit Elbaf by now, right? Nope. The Thousand Sunnies gone poof. Along with Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, and Chopper. Everyone's freaking out, and then bam, Nami wakes up somewhere weird. She's in this room made of studded blocks, rocking a Viking outfit. A Viking outfit? Where the heck are they? Somewhere in this mysterious land, people are scrambling to put out a fire before it hits Yggdrasil, you know, the world tree itself. Crazy, right? And while they're at it, these huge bees start dropping from the tree all banged up. The locals are totally thrown, bees falling out of nowhere. They're muttering about telling the sun god, and then drop this wild bit. Their ear god is down too. Apparently it's some giant they worship, and now they're freaking out. Meanwhile, over at Big Stein Castle, Nami's in full action mode. She's just taken down one of those giant bees with Zeus zap. But then she's bawling, yelling for her crew to save her. She's got no clue where she is or how she got there. Suddenly she hears Usopp calling out, so she bolts toward him only to trip over the lumpy floor and come nose to nose with a giant hedgehog. It's kinda cute, but it spooks her big time. The hedgehog's not thrilled either and starts chasing her like it's personal. She finally spots Usopp, but guess what? He's busy dodging a giant cat. Nami swings Zeus to zap the hedgehog, stumbles and lands, splat on the cat, zapping it too as the hedgehog crashes down. But that's not the end of it. The cat's mad now and starts chasing both Nami and Usopp all over the place. Usopp's like, hey, I woke up here in this weird outfit too. Last thing I remember, we were drinking that crazy booze the giants gave us on the ship, supposed to mess with your head. They hit a dead end and Usopp's all, wait, this cat's gotta be a hallucination, right? This is a dream. He's feeling bold until the cat smacks him hard. Nope, not a dream. That hit sends them tumbling off the edge, and when they land, the cat morphed into a lion. Nami's quick to shove Usopp in front as a shield. He's not happy about it, let me tell you. Just when it looks bad, boom, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji swoop in. Luffy's got his Gamu Gamu no elephant whip, Zoro spins up a Kokujo Tatsumaki, and Sanji lands an Appal strike all at once. The lion's out cold and shrinks back into a cat. Luffy's like, nah, I won't eat it, the rabbit we had was plenty. Sanji's comforting Nami, who's dramatically claiming Usopp's dead, he's fine by the way. Luffy's already eyeing the other animals in the castle, going, these look tasty, let's hunt M. Zoro cuts in, hold up, finding the ship and the crew's more important. Sanji's got his own idea, why not cash in on these giant bees? while Nami's just staring at them like, seriously guys, where even are we? So Sanji's hopping down from Big Stein Castle with everyone, and he's like, okay, this can't be a dream, there's guys here. Meanwhile, Zoro's got his own story. He woke up clear across town, tracking Luffy by the sound of him chowing down on that giant rabbit. Luffy's all casual, telling Usopp, you totally could have taken that giant cat, but Usopp's shaking his head, no way, it woke me up trying to eat me, scared me half to death. Usopp's looking at their Elbaf-style clothes, scratching his head. These fit us perfectly, but no way a giant country's got human-sized stuff lying around. The crew's like, let's find someone and figure this out. They spot this guy riding a giant grasshopper, cool right, and try asking him what's up. He's in a rush, brushing them off with no time to chat, but drops a bombshell. They're in the land of gods, ruled by some sun god. Oh, and he works for Big Stein Castle's ruler Egghead, you know that giant cat they just knocked out. Luffy's about to blurt out, yeah, we beat it up, but Usopp slaps a hand over his mouth quick. The guy keeps going, the needle god's probably starving by now, that's gotta be the hedgehog Nami zapped, and oh, the ear god got burned up. Usopp's wrestling Luffy again to keep him from admitting he ate the rabbit while the crew's whistling like, no idea what you're talking about. The guy warns them, don't go the other way, sun god's temple, over there, guarded by some nasty soldiers. Guess what? Luffy's already sprinting that direction, yelling, adventure time. Nami's thanking the guy, sorry about, everything, while the others chase after Luffy. They're noticing weird stuff, no houses, just another castle like the one they left. Luffy spots someone in Elbaf gear running his way and thinks, I'll just dodge past. Nope, it's his reflection in a giant mirror. Crash, the sky cracks, the mirror shatters, and there's a netted door behind it. Hold up, this blocky kingdom? It's a diorama in some massive room. The Thousand Sunny didn't have anything like this, so where are they now? Then they hear a shout, Chopper's calling for help. Zoro slices through the door and Chopper's reuniting with everyone, hugging Nami. She's like, you owe me for this. Usopp and Zoro spot more human-sized clothes lying around, doll clothes maybe, and Luffy's poking at random blocks. Sanji's checking out the broken mirror. It's see-through from the other side, someone could watch us. Then he grins, we should put these in the girls' cabin, and bam, Nami kicks him square in the face. Classic Sanji. Zoro piecing it together, some giant built this set, tossed in humans and big animals for fun. Usopp's nodding, giant room, giant stuff, gotta be Elbaf. Nami not sold, and Chopper's like, let's bail while we can. Usopp's arguing, no, we should go back and get more clues. But then boom, those temple guards show up, a giant snake, 3 huge mice, and a massive raven. Luffy's already throwing punches, loving it. Mid-fight, this sun god guy storms in, freaking out. His animals are getting trashed and the room's catching fire. Luffy goes gear 5, takes out the guards like it's nothing, and the crew bolts. They spot Egghead the cat and Luffy, like, you're our ride now. Nami pulls out a blueprint she snagged of the block set and they're racing for the exit. The sun god's hot on their tail, roaring, you wrecked my kingdom, none of you are getting away. So the people in the land of gods are pleading with the sun god, chill out man, there's already so much damage. But he's not having it, he's yelling, I'll never forgive this. Meanwhile, Luffy's actually kinda impressed, looking at this blocky world and going, whoa, you put a lot of work into this. He's dodging around, trying not to smash more stuff as the crew bolts for the exit. He's like, where we headed, Nami? She's waving that blueprint she snagged, then tosses it, got it all up here, she says, tapping her head. Just keep straight and we're out. But the sun god's not done. He whips out the steel wire net and snares them, smirking, this room's a detention center. Even giants can't bust out, give it up. The crew not phased. Zoro and Sanji slice through it like it's nothing and they're off again. The sun god's jaw drops, but he recovers, quick shouting, up ahead's the ear god's turf. Then he spots its skeleton and freezes, you took out my glut bunny. Yep, that rabbit Luffy ate. Turns out it was some big deal called a glut bunny. Now the sun god's cracking up, laughing like a maniac. My little walled garden's got a mind of its own since I dragged you guys in here. He's rambling. Hadrudin might buy into Luffy, but me, no way. The locals, though, they're sneaky while he's distracted. They're plotting their own breakout. Usopp fires off a Midori Boshi, Dokuro Bakuhatsuso at the mirror, boom. But the wall behind it holds tough. Luffy's stepping up, winding up for gear 4th, while Nami's fuming, this guy's ticking me off. Sanji's nodding, yeah, total pervert, probably undressed you for that outfit. Nami shuts that down fast. He's just due for some divine punishment, cool it. Flashback time, turns out this sun god's actually Road, navigator for the new giant warrior pirates. He sent his raven Mugen on a little mission and it came back hauling the 1,000 sunny straw hats snoozing on board. Road, like sleeping mist zone, knocked him out perfect. See, he's got a beef with Hadrudin swearing loyalty to Luffy. A human inferior to giants like me, he thinks. So when they started waking up, he knocked them out again, tossed them into his diorama set, and bam, that's how they ended up here. Sneaky move, right? Back to now, Road's gloating, you're my living dolls forever. When Nami's had enough, she calls down Zeus Zap and fries him, leaving him twitching. Luffy seizes the moment, smashes through the wall with a punch, and they're out. Usopp's crossing his fingers, please let Elbaf be out there. Luffy's grinning ear to ear as he peeks outside. What's he seeing? Man, this escape's got me on edge. So out on the Great Eirik, Franky's telling the giants, hey, no need to keep hunting for Luffy's gang, I'm sure they're alive out there somewhere. Robin chimes in, we've done all we can for now, let's just head to Elbaf and wait. Jinbei's nodding, my shark crew's wiped out from searching, and Brook's like, yeah, plus we're out of food. The giants hear all this and go, fair enough, setting sail for Elbaf. Makes sense, right? They're trusting Luffy's crew to pull through. Speaking of those guys, Luffy and the 6 escapees are out of that crazy room, staring at this massive tree and snowy mountains, huge ones. There's a rope bridge stretching from the castle they just left to somewhere up high. 2 giants come stomping across it, Gerd the doctor and Goldberg the cook, both from the new giant warrior pirates. Gerd's griping, why Hadrudin let Road on our crew? Goldberg's like, he's a solid navigator, but Gerd's not buying it. Loki, the shame of Elbaf, sure, but Road's worse. Goldberg's just nodding along, guess Road, not winning any popularity contests. Gerd asks her owl Piper, did you see Road's crow hauling a ship to the castle? Piper hoots a yes and Goldberg's grumbling, we're supposed to nab intruders but Road keeps sneaking em in, if we spot any it's straight to Jarl. Luffy's gang ducks out of sight and Usopp piecing it together, wait this is Elbaf for sure. Luffy's about to yell, hey over here. But Nami clamps his mouth shut, they'll think we're intruders, dummy. Gerd and Goldberg glance over when they hear a rustle, but the crew's hidden good, they shrug and head into the castle. The Straw Hats creep along the rope bridge, gotta watch their step with giant wolves prowling below. Luffy's getting chills though. I heard something weird back in that diorama, he says and bolts ahead to check it out. What's he picking up on? This guy's nose for trouble never quits. Back at sea, the giant warrior pirates are flipping out. The papers are pinning the Egghead attack on them. Dory and Brogy's bounties just shot up to 1,800,000,000 belly each and they're like, we're not even back in the game. Luffy's catching heat too, blamed for killing Dr. Vegapunk with a blurry gear 5th pick in the news. Robin squints at it, hold up, there's an X on his arm I never saw before. It's super clear despite the fuzzy photo and it's bugging her. She's seen it somewhere but they brush it off for now. Dory and Brogy are grinning, Luffy's up there with Shanks now, Hadrudin picked a good one. They spill that Hadrudin's the king's son and wanted to rescue the Straw Hats himself, but these two pulled rank. Then they drop a bombshell, Elbaf's got drama brewing. Way back there was this accursed prince, a guy who went full dark side, got crucified and tried to bail. The whole country teamed up to lock him down. Jinbei's ears perk up as they keep going. This prince killed his dad, King Harold, for some royal devil fruit. If he breaks free, Elbaf's toast. And guess who Luffy stumbles into? Yep, that Prince Loki. Luffy's followed that intense vibe, turns out it's Loki's hacky, hitting him even through a blindfold. Loki's like, who's there? Luffy pipes up, I'm Luffy. Where are we? Who are you? Loki smirks. This is Elbaf, land where wars are born, and me, I'm the sun god who will end the world. So Luffy's practically bouncing, he's finally in Elbaf, a place he's been dying to see forever. He's chatting away, man, I've never seen so many giants in one spot like on the Great Eirik. Hope Usopp figures out we're here when he climbs that big tree. Loki, over there, fuming, trying to get a word in and finally snaps. Hey, you're in front of the sun god, don't talk unless I say so. And bam, his title card drops. 2,600,000,000 belly bounty from the world government. That's a number that'll make your jaw drop, right? Loki's like, so what's your take on my situation? Luffy, being Luffy, goes, you're chained up to. Loki nods, yeah, 6 years stuck here. I'm the strongest giant in Elbaf, but this tree, treasure tree Adam, toughest wood out there. Plus these seastone chains kill my devil fruit powers. He leans in, you're a pirate, right? Free me and I'll wipe out any rival crew you name. He adds, no pressure though, but then smirks, we're in Elbaf's underworld criminal central. Giant beasts everywhere will rip you apart, unless you're with me, they're my buddies. Luffy's eyeing these monsters and just grins, kinda reminds me of Rusukena, typical Luffy, not even sweating it. Then these scruffy humans roll up, Loki says they're losers who tried fighting Elbaf and got dumped here. They're rocking smelly robes to keep the beasts off and they're all Team Loki now. They're muttering, hope we don't get knocked out like with Shanks last time, and Luffy's head whips around. Shanks, he's already taming the beasts himself, leaving the guys and Loki stunned. Did Shanks really come here? He asks, eyes sparkling. Loki, sensing that vibe, goes, yeah, that cowardly pirate. Oh, bad move. Luffy's pissed, gear 4th kicks in and he swings. Loki jerks his head aside, dodging and laughs, just kidding. Luffy's not laughing, don't ever joke like that again. Loki's thinking, soon as I'm free, this kid's toast for swinging at me. Luffy calms down, so why was Shanks here? Is he still around? Loki grins, that info's not free, pal. Meanwhile, Zoro's gang, 5 of them, are still hauling up that rope bridge. Usopp spots Road sprinting after them, all singed up. That's the sun god, he got zapped. Gerd and Goldberg are hot on his tail too, with Goldberg lugging the 1,000 Sunny like it's nothing. Zoro's ready to throw down, but Usopp's like, hold up, they might know Dory and Brogy. Let's hit the nearest village for safety and intel. Over in the woods, Hadrudin and Stanson just dropped a giant moose, planning a big meal for the Straw Hats. Bet that'll taste good. Back on the Great Eirik, Brooks sweating bullets, he just gave Robin a haircut, his first ever. She's checking it out, nice job, looks like it did 2 years ago. Dory and Brogy nod, oh like when she met Saul, huh? Franky, Oimo and Cashiai are all misty-eyed, takes us back to when we met her. They finally roll into Elbaf, but then some giant off in the distance yells, Saul's down and can't get up. Wait, what's that about? So this kid Colin, running around yelling, the Great Eirik's back. He's asking Brogy, straight to the pub, right? Brogy's like, nah kid, we're headed up to the Sun World first. Some lady hands Colin a basket for Ripley and their dad, and the kid's curious. Hey, what's the deal with these pirates Dory and Brogy brought? He's rattling off how Shanks once told him about Luffy, saying, "Remember that name, kid?" Did Shanks know something big was coming? Then bam, a rainbow pops up, stretching right to that giant tree. The great Irex starts sailing toward it and the Straw Hats are losing it. A rainbow this pretty. Brogy's grinning, "Yeah, we whipped it up with a painter, cool huh?" The ship starts cruising up the rainbow to hit the villages and the crew's dumbfounded. We're riding something you can't even touch. But for the giants, totally normal. Hadrudin and Stanson pull up alongside, shouting, "Luffy with you guys." They get a "nah, he's coming later," and keep rolling. Meanwhile, Luffy's hoofing it back up the rope bridge, lands right in Gerd's giant hands. Gerd's all sorry about Road being a jerk, while Goldberg's like, "What were you doing down in the underworld?" Luffy's brain flashes to Loki. "Don't tell anyone we talked or about our deal," Loki had said. Luffy stammers some awful lie and the giants are so thrown they just drop it like, "Glad you're safe, kid." You can't help but laugh at Luffy's terrible poker face, right? Up in the Sun World, Road's back on his nonsense, lunges for Nami and Chopper. Zoro and Sanji aren't having it, they topple a tree right on him. Gerd, Goldberg, and Luffy roll up just in time and the two giants lay into Road. Wham, he's out cold. Gerd and Goldberg turn to the crew, "Hey, we're your guides now." Luffy and Usopp, they're already sprinting for the village while the rest stick with the giants. Back on the rainbow, Brogy's breaking it down. Elbaf's got 3 levels, Underworld, Sun World, and Heaven World up top. We're hitting Sun World now. The crew tops out, spots Luffy and the gang, and Luffy's jaw hits the floor. "You guys rode a rainbow." Everyone's just pumped to be back together, feels good, doesn't it? Then there's this explorer, Louis Arnault, narrating at the end. He's talking up his Elbaf days, but drops this creepy line, "Don't stick around too long, travelers." So way back after Ohara got wiped out, Spandine fed the papers this sob story. Hara's destruction haunts me, especially since the evacuation ship with all the civilians went down too. But here's the twist, he pinned it all on Robin, calling her a demon hiding in an 8-year-old's body. The world government kept the real deal hush-hush, saying, "Oh, it'd scare the kids," but put out the word, "Spot Robin, report her ASAP." That kicked off a manhunt, people chasing her bounty or straight up thinking she's evil and deserves to die. It got so bad Robin nearly jumped off a cliff, but her mom's memory and Saul's voice in her head kept her going, no matter how terrified or broken she felt. Tough stuff, huh? Fast forward to now, the Straw Hats are gawking at this port on the giant tree with sea clouds rolling in for ships to sail on just as the great Irex docks. Luffy's crew's heading down on a mist ship and Lilith's geeking out, "Look at all this tech mashed together." They link up with the others and Nami's like, "Robin, that haircut's on point." Luffy, catching up with Hadrudin, who's showing off his crew. Rhodes there too, crucified for his stunt. Ouch. Hadrudin's pumped, everyone went nuts when Big Mom bit it. But Luffy, like, "Save the chat for after we eat." Before they can dig in, Robin pulls Luffy aside, "I need to find Saul first." The crew's all in with Gerd leading the way. Turns out Saul's Elbaf's history prof holed up at the Owl Library in Warrior Springs, though it's more beach than springs, the crew notices. They hit the shore and some guys sprinting over. Saul's down and out. The Straw Hats groan, "We came all this way," but Robin's cool as ever. What's she sensing? Sure enough, Robin gets close and Saul pops up trying to spook her. He's faking it, didn't know how to face her after all these years, so he went for a goofy surprise. Doesn't faze her one bit. He scoops her up, grinning, "You're Alvia's spitting image now." Robin's hit right in the feels, he asks, "Heard Vegapunk's big message, called it Ohara's legacy, guy risked everything to keep it alive." Robin's curious, "Those scars hurt." Saul shrugs, "Nah, I'm tougher than I thought. Fire melted me out of the ice and I washed into the sea." He found out she escaped, but was livid at the lies they printed about her. Robin cuts in, "No dark stuff today, I want you to cheer me on for surviving." Saul's all over it, hugging her tight, tears streaming, "Thank you for making it to me." Robin loses it too, sobbing, "I missed you so much." He's choking up, "Missed you too, kid." It's a total heart melter, did you feel that? The Straw Hats, most of them, except Zoro and Jinbei, are bawling like babies. Luffy's just standing there, grinning ear to ear. Man, this reunion's got everything. So Luffy's strutting over to Saul, all Yakuza style, "Yo, thanks for looking out for Robin back in the day." His crew's like, "What's with the gangster vibe?" Robin jumps in, "This is Luffy," but Saul's already grinning, "Oh, I know the rep." He's just glad Robin found her crew real friends to keep her safe like he always hoped. She calls the Straw Hats her true nakama, and boom, everyone's bawling again except Luffy, Zoro, and Jinbei. They're shouting, "We'd die for her." Total waterworks moment. Saul's shaking hands with the crew, chuckling, "Sorry about that prank earlier." Turns out Ange, the lady who yelled for help, is his assistant. She was in on it too. He's eyeballing Luffy, "Pretty cool you're an emperor now, keep Robin safe, yeah?" Luffy's all, "You got it." Then Lilith zips in, hovering by Saul. He squints, "Who are you?" She's like, "It's me, Lilith." Jinbei and Gerd haul over this big box she had grabbed from Egghead. Saul's curious what's inside. Lilith drops the bombshell. A perfect Dr. Vegapunk clone used it to sneak here 20 years back, dodging the world government. She's itching to unpack it but needs gear first, new lab time. Bonnie's there too, asking, "Can you help Kuma?" Lilith nods, "That's the plan." Some kids poke out from behind a tree. Saul, "We good to play now?" He waves em off, "Go wild." Ange steps up, "Hey, I'm Ange. These kids usually mess around at Warrior Springs, but we held em back for the reunion." She offers a tour, but Luffy and Usopp, they're already bolting for the Walrus School. Saul's project from 20 years ago, built for King Harold. And shrugs, guess I'll show the rest around, while Saul takes Robin to the owl library. Luffy and Usopp stumble into some giant kids who want to play prisoners with M, but other kids yell, "Cut it out, you can't hurt humans," or call M shorties. The big kids back off and Usopp scratching his head, "Aren't you guys supposed to be tough?" They're like, "Fighting's risky." Then their teacher, Ripley, who the crew's been standing on this whole time, pipes up. She's huge, she lays it out. Those scary giant pirate tales, all 100 years old. King Harold pushed peace and trade over raiding, total game changer. But Loki killed him, so no one's calling him king. Elbaf's rulerless now. Tour kicks off and Ripley's eyeing Luffy. "That transformation of yours reminds me of an old warrior legend. I'm from that last fighter generation." Over at the Owl Library, Robin's with Saul, Chopper, Lilith, and Bonnie. Saul's like, "Hadrudin and I hit O'Hara after saved what books we could." He warns Robin, "Watch out," and sure enough, her book balloons to giant size when she steps in. "Weird library quirk," Saul laughs, but he's beaming. "All O'Hara's knowledge right here for you." Robin's tearing up, seeing her island's legacy alive. Down in the underworld, Loki's chatting with this Mosa character. "That fear you felt still driving you?" he asks. Mosa nods and Loki's musing, "Never met face to face, but you're a pal. If I were you, I'd have crushed 'em all." Mosa's not into the violence, but they're picking up a weird kindness in Loki's harsh vibe. He snarls, "No way, what's his deal?" Back topside, the giants are partying, then zap. Black lightning hits the castle and a magic circle flares up. Two hooded figures step out, a guy and a gal. So over at the Owl Library, Chopper and Bonnie are wrestling with these giant books. Saul's like, "Meet Biblo, the owl running this place. He's why everything goes huge." Lilith's geeking out, "Gotta be the Iku no me doing that." Chopper's eyes light up. "Any medical books in here?" Saul nods. "Yep, but they're Elbaf originals stuck giant-sized. Bet that's a bummer for tiny hands, right?" Meanwhile, in the Sun World, Luffy's cranking a swing way too high. Usopp and two giant kids are screaming their heads off up there with him. Nami's whacking Luffy, "Quit scaring the kids." They run crying to Gerd and Sanji's steaming, one of M's giving her a pervy stare while snuggled up. Luffy's grumbling to Usopp, "Man, Elbaf's way too chill now." Usopp's like, "Yeah, but peace ain't bad." Then bam, Colin swoops in, swinging a wooden sword at Luffy's head. Snap. It breaks clean in two. Luffy's unfazed, jumps up and slams an elephant gun into the ground right in front of Colin. Usopp's yelling, "Chill, Luffy," while the other kids freak out, but Luffy's grinning, "Not everyone's a pushover here." Colin, pumped, "That was awesome," and starts taunting the other kids, who fire back, calling him a punk and a thug. Ripley rolls up, "Colin, my boy, what are you doing?" She scolds him but adds, "Nice first swing though." He hands her a basket from Motto, then drops, "My dad's a human expirate, by the way." Wait, what? Luffy's crew heads to the Owl Library. Robin's like, "I'm sticking with Saul for a bit, catch you at the feast." Lilith and Bonnie skip the party too, off to snag resident permits, and Franky's eyeing the treasure tree. "Adam, gonna study this bad boy." Before they split, Gerd hands out Elbaf-style gear to Robin, Franky, Brook, and Jinbei, looking sharp. Everyone but Robin and Franky heads to the village with Gerd. Over at Orus Castle near the western village, those creepy hooded figures are facing off with some giant guards. The messy-haired one bandages over their nose and mouth, growls, "Where Loki?" The guards clam up, "He's a criminal, no dice." Bandage Face doesn't mess around, fires off these bandage-like projectiles, fast and nasty. One giant drops, howling as it burns. "That's an order, not a question," the figure snaps. "Who are these guys?" At the western village, the Straw Hats roll in and the giants raise. "A toast to the Straw Hats for saving our crew and taking down Kaido and Big Mom." Luffy spots Stanson, "Hey, I know you." Stanson grins, "Sabodi, human auctioning house, you freed me, said I'd repay you someday." Then Jarl, the oldest giant years, rides in on a Svar. Luffy points, "Dude, you've got a sword in your head." Jarl's chill, "Helmet caught it, but it's this close to slicing through." "That's nuts, right?" So Luffy's tearing into this moose meat Hadrudin nabbed, and Jarl's like, "That's one tough beast. Hadrudin's all in, I'd risk my life for you, Luffy." Jarl leans over, "Hey, humans don't usually hit the Sun World, most think Elbaf, just the underworld and bolt when they see those crazy animals." Meanwhile, Usopp's bragging to the giants, "Yeah, I took down Or's total legend." The giants are ogling Jinbei's skin, "Whoa, that color." He shrugs, "Fishman Island's got way wilder shades." Some giants pipe up, "Wanna see a mermaid someday," and Sanji's swooning, "They're gorgeous, but these giant ladies, hearts pounding." The women giggle, "Aw, he's cute." Brooks got them stumped too, "A walking skeleton, what?" Nami's shocked, "I thought all giants were pirates, why stay put?" Right then, Gerd drags Road over, "Apologize now." He mumbles it, looking weirdly smug about it, "Guess he's into the punishment." Zoro waves it off, "No biggie, but if Usopp hadn't stopped me, you'd be toast." Road flops over terrified, and the giants crack up, "Should've checked their bounties, dummy." Gerd's like, "Next time, Zoro, go for it." Road's sulking, Gerd's cold shoulder stings. Road tries justifying himself, "I just wanted to live Elbaf's dream, be the sun god, rule the world." Giants argue back, "Sun god's liberation, not a ruler." Others shout, "No, destruction," or laughter. It turns into a brawl, and Jarl's explaining to Luffy, "We've got this text, hardly no one can translate it right anymore. Says the world's been trashed twice, tied to Nika." He adds, "Nika's a big shift, why the big shots wanna erase him." Luffy, like, "Wait, Bonnie mentioned that on Egghead." Jarl describes Nika, and Luffy's connecting dots, "Oh, that's what they call me in Gear 5th. But he's still not clocking the devil fruit link. Slow on the uptake, huh?" The giants chime in, we all grew up idolizing Nika. Jarl nods. Loki and Harold tried copying him in their way. Luffy's curious, so Loki's good. They shout, no way. Turns out Harold predicted his own son would off him. Baby Loki killed the family's lucky horse, then that year Big Mom accidentally took out Jorl, disasters piled up, queen gone. By 10, Loki turned the underworld into his playground, killing and taming beasts, then sixing them on the village. Worst, he killed Harold 6 years back, Jarl's head soared from trying to stop him. Shanks shut him down, they say, and Luffy's eyes pop, he was here recently. Out on the edge of town, Zoro yanks Luffy aside, you're acting weird. Luffy spills about Loki, Zoro's skeptical, everyone hates him, sounds like lies. Luffy's torn, I want to see Shanks again, if Loki knows where he is I'll find out, if he's bluffing I'll pound him. Zoro's unsure, didn't meet him myself, so they decide to test it. Nami tags along, I'll navigate. And they hop as far to the castle for keys. Luffy's like, why's Road here? Nami grins, my new servant zapped him again. Road's cool with it, but she warns, stay back buddy. Then she muses, what if all that castle treasure just vanished? Zoro smirks, Nami's real motives crystal clear. Down in the underworld, those hooded creeps, God's Knights, track down Loki pitching, join us. Loki scoffs, waste my life on world noble trash, pass. The woman Gunko tells her partner, all our agents vanished after spotting a giant crow, now I see him, he's a punk who deserves to die. Her buddy cautions, easy, as a giant wolf stalks up. Loki sicks it on M, but Gunko's quick unravels her bandage clothes, lassos the wolf's neck and hoists it up. Reconsider if I spare it. She asks, Loki's cold, die in peace pal, I'll be mad but I'll use it to wreck the world. So the Straw Hats roll up to Orust Castle and Road like, no one been here since Harold died 14 years ago. But the busted gate and no guards, that's got him twitchy. Zoro's squinting, gate smashed from the inside, no invaders here. Luffy doesn't care, boom, he's sprinting in. Inside, they're floored, this place is massive. Nami's like, no way we're walking this, until Road scoops M all up and starts hauling. As they trek through, they spot more wreckage. Road's casual, oh that's from Harold and Loki's throwdown, huge fight, huge mess. They stumble on piles of giant skeletons and Road drops the grim tale. Loki wiped out over 100 soldiers here. Only him and Jarl walked away. Castle been a no-go zone since. Luffy's eyeing a horned skull, looks like oars. Road nods. Some giants had ancient giant blood, none pure left now. They hit a portrait of King Harold and Road's all praise. Best king ever, wanted Elbaf tied to the world. Then he adds, he had that ancient blood too, but ripped out his horn, scald them relics of the war days. The crew's shocked, Harold was hardcore, Road keeps going. Hadrudin hates Loki most for killing him, yep, they're half-brothers. Nami's jaw drops, brothers. Road clarifies, half Hadrudin's mom wasn't queen, just some giant lady from another kingdom. Elbaf's picky mixed blood, tainted, so she couldn't rule. Nami's scoffing, wow, giants are judgy. Zoro's like, so why serve Hadrudin with his dirty blood? Road drifts back to Kid Days lonely, map obsessed, no pal still Hadrudin showed up, hey, let's be friends. Road sold. He's real, didn't live here cause of his mom's rep, but took the hate and swore he would unite all giant tribes, be their king. I'm in on that dream. Right then, Luffy spots some giants sprawled out, uh-oh, trouble's brewing. Down in the underworld, Gunko's unloading on Loki. Turns out she's got the arrow no me, firing arrows from her freaky cloth powers. Loki's snarling, I'm only eating these hits cause I'm stuck. Gunko's partner smirks, wouldn't matter if you were. Gunko's baffled, ain't nobody like you rejecting godhood, as her arrows dance around his face. Loki's sharp, those show your next hit, but when she pushes, join us. He's stone cold, nope, arrows nail him just like he figured. He's tanking it till he blacks out and her partner, like enough Gunko. Hood off, the guy's Garland Shamrock, Garling's kid, God's Knight's commander. He's barking, call Mary GOIs, we're bending Elbaf's giants to the world government, whatever it takes. That's some dark vibes, right? Loki waking up, probably with a crick in his neck from those chains, blinking at Shamrock and going, hold up, why do you look exactly like Shanks? I mean, can you blame him for being curious? Gunko's over there shrugging, nah Shamrock, you don't have to tell him a thing, but Loki, not letting it slide. He's all, pirates and world nobles are like cats and dogs, total opposites. So how's a fancy pants like you got the same mug as a legend like Shanks? And then Shamrock just casually drops the bombshell. Oh Shanks, yeah, he's my younger twin brother. Twin brother, did you hear that? He even spills that Shanks popped back to Mary GOIs once but ditched it for the filthy lower world. Shamrock's words, not mine. Loki's blood is boiling now and he's like, both you brothers are on my naughty list. Soon as I bust out of these chains, Shamrock, you're paying for jumping me when I was down and messing with my animal crew. Oh, it's personal now. But Shamrock, he's too snooty to deal with Loki himself. Can't risk chipping a nail, right? So he pulls out his sword and bam, it morphs into Cerberus, the three-headed dog straight out of a nightmare. How insane is that? Gunko whips up a bird with her powers. Yeah, she's got some tricks too, and they take off into the sky, leaving Loki staring down this slobbering beast. Shamrock tosses out a smug, good luck surviving buddy, I'll be waiting if you do. Loki's sweating bullets, muttering, even I can't dodge this one, and he's cursing the world nobles loud enough to wake the dead. Up in the air, Shamrock's plotting, hey Gunko, let's use the kids to twist the giant's arms, call another night while you're at it. Sneaky, huh? You see how this is heating up. Meanwhile, over at Orust Castle, Luffy's getting the scoop on who attacked the guards, and he's flat out refusing to believe it's Shanks. No way, not my Shanks. he yells, even though everyone's pointing out the guy looked just like him, and Shanks has been to Elbaf tons of times. Nami's smirking, wow Luffy, you're really caping for your hero, huh? But Luffy, like, duh, it's Shanks. The guards start whispering, maybe it was his brother, and Luffy's brain does a little flip. Brother. Shanks never talked about family, I just figured the Roger Pirates were it, you know, minus Buggy. Oh, Luffy never change, and then, ooh, what's this? Some shadowy figure starts creeping toward the castle. Who's that? Any guesses? Now let's swing over to Treasure Tree Adam, where Franky's geeking out about the wood. He's like, wait, all these branches are from this one tree, not so rare after all. Ripley, his tour guide, is shocked to hear how pricey this stuff is outside Elbaf, and Saul's over there playing tree cop, no souvenirs, Franky. That's when Franky figures out the real value comes from sneaky snatchers. Sneaky, right? Then he spots this mural carved into the trunk, super cool drawings. Ripley's like, oh, just some kids' doodles from way back, but it's a historical relic, maybe even from the Void Century. Franky's already planning to blab to Robin about it. The wild part, hardly any giants in the picture, just tons of different races teaming up. Ripley's all. Probably a kid's daydream, but you gotta wonder, right? Okay, now picture this, we're at the Owl Library and Saul's showing Robin this epic book called The Harley. He's beaming, every myth in Elbaf came from this bad boy, that's why the sun gods got so many vibes. Robin's eyes light up, can I read it? And Saul's like, go for it. It's split into 3 chapters, the last one's about today and what's coming next. He even drops that Nika legends are everywhere, always with that goofy laugh and a rhythm he starts tapping out da-dum da-dum. Robin's flipping pages and here's what she finds. Chapter 1, The First World, says, within the earth there was fire. Mankind got greedy, touched the forbidden sun, and the enslaved prayed. The sun god showed up, but the earth god flipped out, sent a hellfire snake, and bam, death and darkness everywhere. And they will never meet. Chilling, huh? And there's the second world. Within the void there was breath. The forest god tamed demons, the sun sparked war, and half-moon folks dreamed big. Man killed the sun, became a god, and the sea god went nuts, and they will never meet. Whoa, what's with all the never-meet stuff? Finally, the third world. Within the chaos there was emptiness. The leftover weirdos hear the half-moon's voice and the sun god's dancing and laughing his way to the end. The sun comes back, new morning vibes, and they will surely meet. Did you catch that shift? Surely meet, that's huge. And guess what? That mural Franky saw, it's got drawings of all this, fire, snakes, wars, dancing suns, like a kid's sketchbook of the end of the world. The Straw Hats are scrambling around, trying to crack the mystery of Loki's chains, and they're totally stumped. No key in sight. Road, this big all giant tagging along, chimes in, hey, if anyone knows where that key's at, it's gotta be Jarl or one of those wrinkly elders. Luffy's eyes light up, classic Luffy, right? And he's like, sweet, let's go ask Jarl. But Road's waving his hands like a lunatic, whoa, hold up. That's a major no-no, like crime of the century stuff. Zoro, leaning on his swords all cool and casual, just shrugs, hey, we haven't even decided if we're springing Loki yet. Fair point, Zoro, why rush into trouble, right? So the 4 of them, Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Road, stroll into this massive throne room and bam, there's this freaky magic circle glowing on the floor. Nami's like, yup, that's a demon summoning vibe, old ritual stuff, and Road, practically jumping out of his skin, demons. Nope, I'm out. Luffy, though. He tilts his head and goes, huh, looks kinda familiar. Wait, what? Familiar how, Luffy? You keeping secrets from us? Then, oh man, this is wild. A voice echoes out of nowhere, all deep and mysterious. Luffy, I've been waiting to meet you. Road, losing it, ghost, spirit, see ya. And he bolts, but whoosh, a giant axe flies through the air and slams right in his path. He yelps, drops everyone, and it's chaos. Luffy and Zoro land like champs, and Zoro's quick enough to snag Nami before she eats dirt. Smooth move, swordsman. Luffy squints at the throne, and there's this guy just chilling there. Road, like, Yasan. What are you doing here? Yeah, this rugged dude with a vibe that screams, I've seen some stuff, hops up and says, caught a weird hacky spike in here, but it's gone now, and look, I found you Straw Hats instead. He grins at Luffy, heard you took down Kaido, nice job kid, makes me wanna swing by Wano again. Road leans over to Luffy, oh by the way, ya's Ripley's hub's Colin's dad. Ya chuckles, yeah, Colin's got so much giant blood, I could barely pick him up as a baby. He's 20 now, Ripley's 80, and they're still young, meanwhile, I'm over here counting my gray hairs. He sighs, marrying a giant, not worth it when they're gonna outlive you by a mile. Nami's jaw drops, you married a giant? Ya just laughs, love's a crazy thing, huh? So ya hops down to chat with them, all chill and wise, love's free, you know, mixed races are everywhere, short-lived sure, but plenty of folks are into it. Zoro's not buying the mushy stuff, narrowing his eyes, okay, but who are you really? Ya smirks, just a preacher of love, my friend. Luffy, never one for subtlety, blurts out, hey, you know where Loki's key is. Road's mortified, Luffy, you can't just ask that. But just cracking up, I love a troublemaker. He gets serious for a sec though, you know what Loki's like, Luffy, what if freeing him goes south? Luffy grins, easy, I'll beat him up and chain him back. You raises an eyebrow, only Shanks ever caught him, kid, Russian blind and you're toast. Luffy's already zoning out though, wandering off mid-lecture typical, Road's bowing, sorry, yeah, he's rude, but ya just smiles, lost in a memory of Roger. Roger was the same, always diving in head first. He mutters, then nods at Road, push that throne over. Road does and boom, hidden room alert. Meanwhile, down in the village, the giants are spilling tea to use up about the Roger pirates. 2 guys were as tough as Roger himself, they say. Use-up's like, okay, one's Rayleigh duh, but who's the other? Omo grins, picture this. Roger's wiped out, resting at a mountain hospital, and enemy pirates swarm M. This one dude grabs 2 axes and goes full berserker, takes them all out solo and chops every tree on the mountain. They called him Mountain Eater, Roger's left-hand man. Usopp's eyes are popping. Can you imagine that kind of power? Back at the castle, that hidden room behind the throne, it's a treasure stash you found poking around. Nami's squealing jackpot. Until they step in and it's empty, looted ages ago, what a buzzkill. But wait, there's the key to Loki's chains just sitting there all shiny and tempting. Ya smirks, even thieves wouldn't touch it. Luffy lunges for it, but ya snags it first, twirling it on his finger. Wanna free Loki? Take it from me, kid. And here's the kicker, back with Usopp, the giants drop the bomb, that Mountain Eater. He's been in Elbaf for 20 years and it's yup, Scopper Gabin himself. Who saw that coming? Luffy's got a fight on his hands now and I'm dying to see how this plays out. Luffy's staring down Gabin, totally baffled, going, hey, why do I gotta fight you for this key? Just hand it over. Road, scratching his head, muttering, yeah, what's the deal, Yasan? Gabin, though, he's got that sly grin on, taunting, what's wrong, kid? Can't take it from me. Oh, that's like waving a red flag at Luffy. He leaps off Road's hands like a rubber rocket, swiping for the key, but Gabin's dodging left and right, too quick. Luffy's yelling, come on, I just wanna free Loki and get back to the feast, gimme it. Gabin chuckles, then take it. Luffy lunges again, but bam, Gabin leaps into the air, coats the key with haki and slams it down on Luffy like a hammer. Rubble flies everywhere and everyone's jaws drop. Did that just happen? Luffy pops out of the debris, mad as a hornet, dusting off his hat. Gabin squints at it and goes, huh, that straw hat looks way better on you than my old helmet. Luffy clutches it tight, it's a treasure, holding it for Shanks. Gabin snorts, Shanks, that cheapskate didn't even give it to you. Oh, big mistake, buddy. Luffy's steaming now, shouting, don't trash talk Shanks, you don't even know him. Gabin's had enough. He shoves the key right into Luffy's mouth and yeets him into a wall. Then he whips out those axes, yup, dual-wielding time, and unleashes this insane move, Yasutakaru. Axe strikes rain down like a storm, and it's pure chaos. Zoro's not about to let his captain get diced up, though. He dives in, swords flashing, blocking the flurry, and boom, half the castle's toast. Gabin's grinning ear to ear, nice crew you got there, kid. Luffy's had it, he goes full gear fifth, all loopy and wild, while Zoro's ready to back him up. They're charging Gabin together, but plot twist, he throws his hands up, I yield. Luffy and Zoro crash into each other like a cartoon, yelling, take this seriously, old man. Gabin just points at the ground, key, yours, look, sure enough, it's sitting there next to Luffy. Road, about to spill, hey Luffy, he's actually. But Gabin cuts him off, easy Road, no rush. As he strolls off, Gabin tosses over his shoulder, if Elbaf's still standing when you're done, come find me. Luffy and Zoro shout back, no way. But Gabin's already reminiscing about Shanks hyping Luffy up years ago. He'd asked Shanks, why trust this kid? And Shanks just smirked, do what you want then. Classic Shanks, right. Now let's swing over to the Walrus School. Some kids are squinting at this funky bird in the sky, but Ange's like, what bird? I don't see squat. Turns out it's no bird, it's Gunko's weird construct carrying her and Shamrock right onto the tree branches. They land and Gunko whips up a magic circle, aiming to summon one of those fancy gods' knights. But oops, she gets two. Saint Somers of the Shepherd family caught in his undies whining about a food shortage, and Saint Killingham of the Rimashifu family all flustered, I'm late for something. They blink, realizing, wait, we're in Elbaf. Somers scrambles into his pants while Shamrock's like, I asked for one, what's with the double trouble? Killingham snaps, I'm being yanked back to Mary G. Wise, everything's a mess since the Leavely. Somers, still buttoning up, goes, Shamrock, what are you even doing here? Visiting Harold's grave or something? Shamrock fills them in on his scheme and Somers groans, we can't just stuff kids in a sack. Killingham adds, yeah, and without the mark they can't cross the abyss, gotta ship M out. But Shamrock, he gets this wicked gleam in his eye. Oh, with your powers we can turn this into a little kidnapping game. A game? Yikes, this guy's twisted. What do you think these two saints are gonna do, play along or push back? This is getting juicy. The gang's trudging out of the castle and Nami's grumbling loud enough for the whole island to hear. No treasure, that's the only reason I even tagged along. Rhodes shooting her these panicked looks, whispering not in front of the guards. He's over there trying to smooth talk the injured guys, oh nothing happened, just a quiet day, right? Yeah, good luck with that, Road. Meanwhile, Franky's still geeking out on his treasure tree Atom tour with Ripley. She's pointing up at these massive branches, yup, we live right up there, pretty cool, huh? Then they spot this gnarly severed branch and Ripley's like, that used to be Hodgen Village. Lightning hit it, set it ablaze, and since the wood was ancient it just kept burning, we had to chop it off to save the rest. Franky's jaw drops, wait, this beast of a tree can get old and weak. Ripley nods, fire and lightning, Elbaf's kryptonite. Who knew, right? Back at the feast, Usopp's 3 sheets to the wind, slurring at Nami, where have you been and where's Luffy and Zoro at? She just waves him off, oh, exploring, you know, the usual. Then Usopp drags her over to Jarl, this giant geezer who grins at Nami, well, aren't you a beauty? Usopp, sloppy as ever, goes, hey Jarl, what's your type? Jarl chuckles, older women, and Usopp, bam, smacks the sword stuck in Jarl's head, good luck, you're the oldest giant alive. Dory's growling, Usopp, cut it out. But our sniper, too drunk to care, bragging, I'm brave enough to yank that thing out. Brogy's like, do that, and he's bleeding out dead. Nami's giggling, wow, Usopp's hammered. He's been dreaming of Elbaf forever, now he's living it up. Can you blame him? Party of the century. Sanji's scanning the crowd and pipes up, hey, where's Gerd? Cut to her, she's patching up those guards Road dragged in, she's grilling him what happened. And Road sweating bullets, just went to the castle for block set inspiration, saw some damage, that's all. Gerd's not buying it, let's wake these guys up and ask, but Road's practically begging no let M rest. She suggests running it by Jarl, but Road like, bad idea, don't ruin the feast with rumors. Truth is, he's terrified of being pegged as Luffy's accomplice if Loki gets loose. Deep down, he'd love for Loki to just scram, but that Shanks look-alike mess, it's gnawing at him. Gerd's had enough, she lunges, spill it, Road. Oh, he's toast now. Down in the underworld, Luffy and Zoro stumble on Loki all beat up, surrounded by wounded animals. Luffy's heart's breaking. Loki, what happened? He fumbles with the chains, seized on Ugg, and his strength tanks fast. Zoro's like, hold up, we can't free him yet, too shady. If he goes nuts, Elbaf screwed. Luffy not hearing it, but his wounds, he needs help. Zoro kicks Loki's injuries, harsh dude, and Loki howls, proving he's not faking. Grumbling, Zoro agrees, fine, we'll unlock him, but leave one shackle on, no devil fruit tricks till we get answers. Luffy, off, I'll grab Chopper, but Zoro stops him too far, Gerd's our best shot. Problem, if the Giants catch them freeing Loki, they're out of here. Luffy shrugs, I'll take the ban if he's okay. He's all, meat'll fix him up. But Zoro eyes the animals, what about these? Luffy snaps, they're his buddies, no way, I'll hunt in the mountain. Just as Luffy bolts for a doctor, the new giant warrior pirates, Sanji and Toe, come tumbling out of the sky. Gerd squeezed the truth from Road, told Hadridan, and they raced over. Their spars choking in the underworld air and they're plummeting, yikes. Luffy puffs up with Gamu Gamu no Fusen, catching them all, though they still bounce off him like ping-pong balls, bruised but alive. Hadridan's on his knees, Luffy, don't free Loki, he's a snake, plays the pity card to stab you in the back. Too late though, the chains are off and Loki's staggering to his feet, injuries and all. Hadridan's pleading, drop Ragnar please. But that weapon, gleaming in Loki's hand. Oh man, what's he gonna do? This is getting nuts, any guesses? Over at Walrus School, the kids are screaming their heads off, teachers help. Why? Because a massive snake Jormungand straight out of the underworld has crashed the party and is ripping the place apart. The math teacher Blade bursts into the faculty room, guys, there's a giant snake from the underworld tearing up the sun world, what's going on? Principal Kiba's already on it, we gotta call the chiefs. But little Ange pipes up, who's protecting the kids right now? Kiba doesn't waste a second, he charges out, swinging his hammer like a madman at Jormungand. Saul's up top, sprinting along a branch, and bam, lands the knockout blow. Snake down, the kids are losing it, whoa, Kiba's a warrior for real. Robin and Chopper, tagging along with Saul, are just as stunned, this serpent's huge. Then someone yells, Wolf, the gym teacher, he's hurt bad. They rush to him, but Wolf's all, forget me, where are the kids? Turns out, some wandered off, and get this, they're sleepwalking toward the beach, chasing one of Gunko's freaky arrows. What's that about? The teachers are like, blow the horn, warn the whole island. But Saul's hesitant, that might be overkill. Kiba drags him to the forest though and points giant monsters everywhere. Horn time, no debate. Ange tugs Saul's sleeve. The kids are dropping like flies, passing out one by one. Chopper's on it, I'll check M out. Our little doc to the rescue. Meanwhile, down in the underworld, Loki's smirking at Luffy and Zoro. You think one seastone shackle stops me, think again. He's got that menacing vibe, undo it or Elbaf's toast. To prove he's not bluffing, he slams Ragnar into the tree, crack. Lightning strikes and the south side's blazing. The partying giants hear the news and sprint to douse the flames, chaos everywhere. Back at the school, Ange is piecing it together for Saul. Those monsters, I know them. Flashback to earlier, she told the kids, draw what scares you most. Some sketched Loki, terrified he'd wreck the world, others drew Nika for the same reason. Then there's Fenrir the wolf, storms, ghosts, and yup, Jormungand. One kid, Ilva, even warned her, Miss Ange, I'll have nightmares if you keep talking spooky stuff. Ange laughed it off then, sorry kiddo, but wow, you guys are creative. Now though, she's wide-eyed, Saul, these monsters are their drawings, their fears coming to life. How's that even possible? It's like a kid's nightmare jumped off the page. Up above the tree, the gods, knights minus Shamrock are watching the madness unfold. Killing M, who somehow cooked up these creepy critters, smirks. They'll stick around till the kids hit the ship, think anyone'll figure it out by then. Sommers, all philosophical, mutters, to know love is to wound someone, huh? Then he turns to Gunko, what's your biggest fear? She doesn't hesitate, Nika. Up there, they're pulling strings, but down below, it's Panic City. Luffy, Zoro, the giants, the kids, everyone in deep.